Okay, let's meditate for a few minutes. Welcome everyone. Welcome Venerable De Hong. Another meditation and Dharma talk. Um, Again, today is the first Tuesday of the month. And so with that, I'm going to turn the podium over to Venerable De Hong.
Thank you. Good evening. So tonight, I'll continue with the part 3 of the Fourth Noble Truth, which is the Eightfold Path. I apologize, that I couldn't get it done last time, so we'll continue tonight. And before I do, I'd like to share with you guys some of the pictures taken in the prison. This is from Diya onward, which is a level 3. The picture was taken on the third Saturday of May, in which we celebrate the Buddha's birthday. So it was held on Friday from 9 a.m. to 2:30. And the manager at the prison, she was more open to have the pictures taken and sent them to me. So right here we have 11 guys. There were, but actually in between one person left and then another person came. As you see, this is in the chapel, and we basically sit on the chair. I think that day we meditate for almost 3 hours in, I believe, 4 sessions. And we take usually 10-15 minute breaks for the men to walk around, to do some stretching, or to use the restroom. Let me see what else I could share. But what I like to share with you guys is that even to these days, Buddhism is still being misunderstood. There are so many misperceptions against Buddhism, or even the practice of meditation. It kind of like bothers me quite a bit, because meditation helps people no matter who you are, what religion you are. And I don't make it a point to convert people, because that's not my job, and that's not what Buddhism is about. And I hate it. Well, I'm sorry, I don't like it that I have to defend why is it that what Buddhism is or what meditation is. So I had a few guys who came to me and said, one of the guys said that when his wife learned that he came to meditate with me, she didn't like it. And then there was another person in Lancaster. He said that his mom and sister disapprove of him, but his wife was okay with it. And in the prison setting, the choice is for the men or even the women to change, to do better, to get some kind of help are very, very limited. But if something that can help them to deal with the stress, to cope with the stress, the chaos, the trauma of everyday life, I say that, why not let them learn just so that they can cope with the stress and trauma? Because inside the prison setting is horrible, not to mention everything else. So anyway, and then there was another person. He is of Korean descent. His parents came from South Korea. He was born in LA, basically. He also joined my meditation practice and a few years ago, back in 2021. And he said that when he told his friend on the phone, his friend out here, and his friend yelled at him, they were like literally cursing at him. And I had to explain to him that think of it as a meditation practice, because we didn't do anything different. We don't pray, period. We don't worship anyone. I was able to help him to look at the psychological aspect of Buddhism. So he has been coming every month ever since 2021. Now, one thing about him, and I want to bring this up, is that the Korean War, which began in 1950 and ended in 1953, and it ended 71 years ago, right? However, I guess the American public doesn't know. Myself personally, I see a lot of Korean descent. People who came from South Korea, or people who are born to South Korean parents. A lot of them suffer trauma, or what we call intergenerational trauma, and then a lot of them end up getting into prison. But it's not the South Korean, it's all the folks who came from war-torn country, and from South America. Even as a matter of fact, I knew of someone who is incarcerated who came from Afghanistan. Now, for this gentleman, he's only like 32, and he told me that he, as a kid, he witnessed his parents fighting. His mom stabbed his dad, and one day, when he was 5 years old, his mom drove him in a car and purposely crashed into a building with the intent of committing suicide, and that was horrible. He was traumatized. So growing up, he has one sister, as far as I know. So he ended up joining a gang and committed his crime. He has been incarcerated since 2011. He's supposed to have his hearing next year. So my point is that for anyone who, for folks inside the prison, meditation definitely can help them, and the teachings of the Buddha can help them actually process their trauma. And don't take my word for it. You guys can read the book by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, The Body Keeps a Score. He actually said meditation and mindfulness can directly help traumatized people to process and heal from their trauma. So be it folks inside the prison or even folks out here, definitely I highly recommend read that book, because if you come to, if for anyone suffering from trauma, and no matter what spiritual or religion practice that you follow, you're not going to be able to make much progress unless you address and process and heal from your trauma. And that's what I want to say. Next week or next month, I will share another story from someone who was born here, American, but it has to do with the Vietnam War. So I'll save that and share with you guys next month, August. Anyway, so moving on, transition into so tonight we'll finish the fourth noble truth, the third part of it. So the concentration part, that's part three, which we can use another term for it, which is mental clarity. But I think there's much more to it than mental clarity. But with meditation practice, with concentration practice, one is able to achieve mental clarity. For those who are serious about the practice of meditation, then they continue and to achieve what we call jhana, which means deep state of concentration. So in this part, there are three, right? Right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Last month we covered right effort, which consists of preventing negative states of mind, overcoming negative states of mind, cultivating positive states of mind, and maintaining positive states of mind, and that is right effort. And within the part of right effort is that, according to Bhante Gunaratana in the book 8 Mindful Steps to Happiness, one must overcome the 5 hindrances, which I believe we covered last year, which these are greed, ill will, dullness, and drowsiness, restlessness, and worry, and doubt. That's one thing. The other part is to overcome also the 10 feathers, which I said last month that I wasn't about to do it because I'm not enlightened, but I like to copy the whole text for you guys to read about it and to study perhaps, and definitely talk to a teacher, a Buddhist teacher, who can guide you through. So what is the 10 feathers? Basically, according to Bhante Gunaratana, all negative mind states are rooted in greed, hatred, and ignorance. Greed, in combination with ignorance, manifests as 10 deep, powerful psychic irritants called the feathers, or the 10 feathers. Besides this, right, I think we need to keep in mind that we also need to study and apply the Buddha's teaching along with the practice of meditation. The teachings include the Four Noble Truths, the 3 marks of existence, the 5 aggregates, karma, dependent origination. All of this go together. So in order for someone to reach the first stage of enlightenment, one must overcome the first 3 types of feathers. The first one is belief in the existence of a permanent self. What it is that in Buddhism, we talk about the 5 aggregates. The Buddha did not talk about the soul. So this is the mist. The thing that we need to overcome is that we need to study the 5 aggregates, but we should not believe in the permanent of a soul. That's what this one is about. This is a false belief. The second part is that one cannot doubt in the Buddha's teaching. If we doubt, then that's going to be our hindrance. We would not be able to actually achieve a state of concentration, and definitely we're not able to achieve the first stage of enlightenment. So questions like, did I exist before birth, or is there life after death? Will I be reborn? Do I exist? Who am I? All these questions don't help with our practice, and they're not important. What is important is to live our life according to the Eightfold Path. That's the first priority, along with the meditation practice and study other teachings. So we must have faith in the Buddha's teaching. The third part of the third feather is the belief in rites and rituals. let's say we need to do some chanting, or we in both tradition we do a short chanting, but we cannot blindly believe that, oh, if I chant this, then my problems will go away or I will be saved. Then that is not proper. That is not correct. So here he said basically that what, if we believe the highest happiness can be attained by performing ceremonies, engaging in celebration, making offerings to the Buddha, chanting, praying, reciting, instead of meditating and apply the Buddha's message to daily life. Right here, good Bhante Gunaratana said, meditating and apply the Buddha's teaching to our daily life. That is what we need to do instead of blindly doing the rituals. So those are the first three feathers that we must overcome in order to reach the first stage of enlightenment. The next two that we need to overcome, the next two feathers are greed for not sensual pleasures and hatred. Once we overcome these two, then we can attain the second and the third stages of enlightenment. And what is greed? Like greed for the physical sensual desire, right? Sight, sound, like music. Sight means, scenery. Smell, taste, tangible. Something like when we wear clothes, we like something nice and comfortable, expensive. All of this giving us sensual pleasure, but they're not helpful in terms of our study and practice. The fifth feather, hatred. Any type of aversion to anything that is unpleasant, whatever that we experience, no matter how unpleasant it is, we sit with it, we recognize it, and then we let it go instead of suppressing it, avoiding it, or ignoring it. That's not the proper way of dealing with unpleasant experiences. Then to reach the fourth stage of enlightenment, which is the arahat, then one must overcome the next five feathers. The first one, feather number 6, is subtle desire to exist in fine material form. Meaning that the person but it refers to the will of someone to live, to exist in any kind of form or any form. And 7 is like to exist in much more refined form, some kind of ethereal body or higher gods. That is, if we believe in that, we cannot reach the fourth stage of enlightenment. Feather number 8 is conceit, or underlying perception of self-identity, that the quality of seeming to exist as someone, we also need to overcome that. We also need to let go of that. And feather number 9 is restlessness and worry. That something that we need to overcome. And then ignorance, which is basically blindness to the nature of suffering, is that we don't have the ability to see life clearly, to see things clearly, to understand all phenomena, because everything that is subject to exist or arising is subject to ceasing and disappearing. And one must be able to achieve that. And actually the opposite of ignorance is wisdom. So I just want to read off the 10 feathers for you guys. I highly recommend that you guys study and talk to a teacher depending on your level. I'm not enlightened, so and I cannot take on any student. I hope you understand, because I'm busy with the prison visits and study for myself as well as my meditation practice. Okay, so basically what it is that the 10 feathers, they function as, they are very subtle and insidious, but with mindfulness practice, you can discern how it happens. Mindfulness can help us to discriminate between the senses, the sensory objects, and the feathers as they arise. Whenever feathers come up, use mindful effort to overcome them. When they disappear, be mindful of that state as well. So, so I think that's that's what I just want to talk about. I don't think that it has been talked enough about it yet, but I highly recommend that you guys study it and get to it. And along with your meditation practice, apply the Buddha's teaching and learn how to overcome the 5 hindrances and the 10 feathers. Anyway, so the next part, the second part of the mental clarity or concentration is right mindfulness. What it means is that it is a clear understanding of every single physical and mental movement that we make throughout every waking hour of every day. Being here now, aware of our sensations, our experiences as they are, without judging, without distorting of the socially conditioned responses or of our habitual reactions. Just be mindful of that. And wisdom here is the crown of insight. With mindfulness practice, we are able to achieve, to attain wisdom. What it is that it opens the wisdom eye, is the real purpose of mindfulness. It gives us the insight into the nature of reality, which is the ultimate secret of lasting happiness and peace. And through mindfulness, the secret of happiness is revealed as the layers of impurities are peeled off through wisdom. The layers of impurities here are implied as ignorance. We also need to begin to understand each of how the 5 aggregates come into being, grow, matures, decays, and dies. And that is this physical body and the mind. Noticing the impermanence of all phenomena, that gives us the opportunity to see the dissatisfaction that change engenders. We see how everything is slipping away, and that's how we get insight into the cause of our dissatisfaction or suffering, attachment to things that are constantly in flux. The reality is that our ever-changing experience of the ever-changing world, the world within us, and the world we perceive through our senses. And this is pretty deep. So to develop right mindfulness, we must make use of one of the 4 foundations of mindfulness: mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of feeling, mindfulness of the mind, mindfulness of the Dharma. I will cover, if I have time, I can cover this, but I think at the beginning of our lectures, I think last year, either July or August, I used Bhante or Bhikkhu Analayo's book, The Direct Path to Realization, in which he covered these 4 foundations very, very clearly. I highly recommend that you guys buy the book or download the PDF file, which is free. So that's right mindfulness, and now on to right concentration. Right concentration, we need to know that it must be wholesome, because it allows us to dive into our conscious mind and our unconscious mind. It helps us to pierce through all the mental objects to a clear perception of their impermanence, the dissatisfaction that they bring, and the lack of a permanent or unchanging self or identity. So the first step in developing concentration is to overcome the 5 hindrances in our mind. Again, remember that full concentration is always wholesome, one-pointedness, or single-pointed concentration. That's another term for it. And that is not distracted. The goal here in concentration practice is to sustain awareness so that concentration flows into each succeeding moment of mind consecutively without gaps, A moment of mind is so small that it is almost unimaginable. Full concentration a higher a number of stages and level, but Bhante Gunaratana, he said he limit to 4. However, again, because of the interest of time, I'm not going to be able to cover it. I apologize, but you guys can get the book 8 Mindful Steps to Happiness to read more about it and how to attain it. Again, when you attain concentration, doesn't mean that you achieve enlightenment. That's the difference. You need both. You need to overcome the 5 hindrances and the 10 feathers along with the concentration in order to achieve any stage of enlightenment. So with that, I will stop here and transition to the meditation practice. Okay. So tonight I will cover compassion practice. So let's get started. You can adjust or change your posture. Once you're done, then take some deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. When you breathe in, your body may tense up a little bit because it takes an amount of effort and energy to fill your lungs and your body with air all the way down to your abdomen. But when you breathe out, it takes no effort. And that's how you can relax your body. So pay attention to the breath and figure out how you can best relax your body. Let go. It helps to let go of your thoughts, planning, worry, fear. Your thought process, your thinking mind, let it all go. Just be 100% present with the breath. And take as many deep breaths as you like. It doesn't have to be 3. Until you feel a sense of calmness and relaxation. Even though your mind may be busy and wandering, just let it be. First, try to relax your body. Once you're done, then breathe normally through your nose and allow your body to settle into your posture. Start with a smile. Notice how you feel when you smile and how that feeling gives rise to the physiological sensations in the body. And also take notice that the sensations are quickly fading away. How you feel next depends on your mind, your body, or both. Let's first start with the sense door practice by first noticing your environment, the space around you, the room temperature. Let's check in with your mind, see how busy it is and restless wandering around. Know that when you are not mindful, your mind can affect your feeling, your emotion, your attitude, your mood, your perception, your view, your thought process. And that's what the mind does. Then notice your sense of hearing, knowing that you cannot turn off your hearing consciousness. It's always on. Then your sense of seeing, your sense of smell, your sense of taste. These 3 senses, when you're meditating, are at rest because there are no triggers So there's no need to react to anything. Then your sense of touch in the body, how the clothes that you wear feel on your body, or being mindful of any sensation or tension or physical pain throughout your body. The sensual practice helps you to stay grounded and centered no matter where you are at any given moment, any time, in any posture, be it sitting, standing, walking, or lying down. And this is how you stay grounded and centered, so you don't get distracted easily or feel overwhelmed even when you are being triggered. Let's stay with the breath, with your mindfulness or awareness, and use the next few moments to process the thoughts in your conscious mind by basically allowing each thought to come up and let it go. You can quickly notice a thought for what it is and let it go. You don't have to react to it, making comments, judging, or engaging with it. All these thoughts are from your past experiences and perhaps planning, and because you have not processed them, that you're constantly busy. So whenever you're sitting around or meditating, they appear seeking your attention. So mindfully, patiently, allowing each thought to come and go. In a way, you're practicing concentration. When you're not distracted by any thought, or when your mind is not wandering away. You can also visualize your mind as your home. This mindfulness that you are cultivating is the owner of this home. So sit back in the comfort of your home and look out the door. The thoughts that appear are guests standing or coming to your front door. And you don't have to do anything. You recognize each guest for what it is and let that guest go. The moment that you follow a guest, you're no longer home. So when you recognize that, come back to your breath, come back home. And this is how you are also developing, cultivating patience. Patience with yourself. Sit back and relax. See each thought for what it is and let it go. And in all these thoughts, there might be stories that you have been told about yourself. There are stories that you have been telling yourself. If they're not positive, they're not conducive to your mental well-being, throw them out. Images of your loved ones will also appear. Put them aside. They will always be there. So no need to cling to anyone or crave for anyone. You may also notice your desire or desires. If your desire is not feasible and practical, abandon it. This is one way to clear your mind, to see through your mind or all the nonsense that you have carried or all the issues that you have suppressed. Just be open to it. Be objective, be critical to everything that comes up. And even be honest with yourself. And remember to smile even to help you relax. It also gives you a sense of alertness that you're meditating, that you're processing all the thoughts in your conscious mind. Stay with the breath. Whatever thought that comes up, let it go. You notice that you have no control over all these thoughts. They come out of nowhere and then they disappear. And that's how it is. That's the nature of all the thoughts. And you can apply the same principle to your feeling. Let's practice mindfulness of feeling. Just notice how you feel right now, whether you feel pleasant or unpleasant. If you feel pleasant, if you feel good because of someone or something, that's called the mundane pleasant feeling. Recognize it and let it go. Try not to cling to any good feeling or crave for more. If you feel good naturally from within, that's called the supramundane pleasant feeling. With this type of feeling, it's always there. All you have to do is allow yourself to sit and meditate. And you'll be able to feel it naturally. If you don't feel good because of someone or something, that is called the mundane unpleasant feeling. Try not to ignore or suppress it. Allow yourself to sit through it. Notice how it feels, how it affects your body, and then it will go away. So no matter what difficult feeling you experienced, sit with it and let it go. Try not to suppress or ignore or deny it. If you don't feel good from within, for no reason, or because you're not satisfied with your spirituality, or religious practice, then let go of your expectation and demand of where you should be and how you should be. Then from time to time, you may feel neutral. It's neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Usually that comes up when your mind is settled, is clear. And it can be difficult to pinpoint. And for the most part, most of our feelings are either pleasant or unpleasant. This is the practice of mindfulness of feeling. And again, notice that all your feelings come and go. Your feelings cannot stay. Then still staying with the breath, let's move on and practice compassion for yourself. Compassion is your mental ability to recognize that you're under a lot of stress or dealing with a lot of difficult issues or people. With compassion, you know how to navigate the stress and how to take care of yourself instead of making it worse or harming yourself or blaming yourself. This is a mental training of the mind. You're cultivating the seed of compassion. So as you are sitting, you can repeat some of the following phrases. May I recognize any stress, difficult issues, or people that I experienced. May I not react to any of them. May I not say or do anything to harm myself and others. May I love myself unconditionally. And may I be calm and peaceful. These are the phrases of compassion. So keep repeating them. Allow these phrases to become your new thoughts, new reminders, so that you know how to navigate and overcome stress or difficult issues or people, so that you know how to care for your physical and mental health. And allow the practice, when you do it regularly, perhaps daily, to become your new habit, so that you know what to do when you neglect to care for yourself or when you are under a lot of stress. And that's the practice of compassion. So keep repeating them. Notice how you feel when you have compassion. Allow your heart, your mind to open, to be filled with unlimited love and kindness, without judgment, without hatred, anger, resentment, and ill will. Let's sit in silence for the next few minutes. Just continue to practice compassion for yourself. Let's check in with your mind again, see how perhaps settled it is, how clear it is. Check in with your feeling, your emotion, your attitude, your mood, your perception, your view. So know that when you're mindful, you're able to be in control with your feeling, your emotion, your attitude, your mood, and nothing can affect them. Check in with your body, your posture, and notice the qualities of mindfulness or awareness, concentration, patience, and compassion that you just cultivated. With that, I'll hand it over to Danny. Thank you.
Thank you, Venerable.
Mm-hmm.
You had mentioned in the past this book called the Body Keeps the Score.
Mm-hmm.
And I recently read an article about a medical team who are studying cancer. And there seems to be um, lately there's been a lot of people who have cancer, um, especially lung cancer. People who don't have who doesn't have a history of smoking, nor do they have family members that smoke. We used to think that smoking was the cause for lung cancer, but turned out not to be that there are many people now who have lung cancer, even if they don't smoke, or they have other kinds of cancer, pancreas. Just the list is very long. And so this medical team study, um, and they decided that cancer doesn't come from, well, it can, but it doesn't necessarily come from external factors. I mean, of course, if you live in a chemical dump, that would be a problem. But turns out that a majority of the people who suffer cancer had some kind of trauma,
Yeah.
and so this opens up a very interesting avenue of study in that when the body suffers trauma, it remains in that state where um, it creates a lot of stress in them
In the body.
and in the body. And the stress creates a lot of stress hormone. And one of the stress hormone is important for reducing inflammation. And but when your body creates so much of this steroid, this cortisol, your body loses sensitivity to that. And so it's in a way it's a cascading effect. First trauma, the body keeps the score, continue stressful state, too much hormone, body loses its ability to self-heal, and then the cancer is one um, end result of that. There are others, many of
Correct.
the medical condition comes from that.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's more and more evidence about how a lot of our health issues are affected by our state of mind.
Correct.
And so, in that simplistic sense, I think one has to understand that meditation is not a religious practice. It's just an empowerment practice. Is to allow you, is empower individual to make mental choices, so that it's I know people don't want to talk about politics, especially nowadays, with the presidential election going on. But imagine, you're choosing a candidate,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember way back when you talk about the 51 or the 52 mental factors,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I think it's important to understand that in Buddhist practice, we don't judge. We don't say that this is good and this is bad, and there's some godlike creatures that decide that they don't keep the score.
Correct.
Right? It's the body that keeps the score. And so I remember you were teaching the 51 mental factors, and there's the wholesome and unwholesome.
Mm-hmm.
The unwholesomes, I just look it up quickly. The unwholesomes are like delusions, shamelessness of wrongdoing. You know,
Yeah.
if you do something wrong, you don't even feel shameful. Fearlessness of wrongdoing.
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't think that there's a consequence. Restlessness, greed, wrong view, conceit, hatred, envy, stinginess, worry, sloth, and the list just goes on and on and on,
Yeah,
right? So those are all the mental states that causes stress, you know.
correct.
And then there's the opposite of that. The opposite of that is the loving kindness, the compassion, you know. Those are the ones that actually heals your body, you know. And so I think what meditation is really just giving the tool, empowering you to choose between the two candidates. You know, you have one candidate of one party, you know, who focus on, you know, hatred and envy and,
Killing your
you know,
body.
yeah, it's killing your body,
Yeah,
you know. And then you have another candidate, you know, who at times demonstrate,
support.
you know,
Hmm.
compassion and loving kindness. I'm using the presidential candidate as an example of the
Right.
choices that you can make. And I think what we try to do here, teaching meditation, whether it's mindfulness meditation or loving kindness meditation, is just to give you some tool.
Yeah.
And I think you of anyone is very convincing because those are the same tools that you bring to the prison, allowing those who are incarcerated under the extremely difficult environment to actually make their own choice of freedom,
Hmm.
right? That even though they're physically incarcerated, the mind is free. I think
Hmm.
that's you know, you don't bring the Buddha statue in there and say, you know, here it is.
Hmm.
No, you
Nope.
don't. You don't. You can't even bring a book.
Nope.
All you
I
can
just bring
bring
the
is an
charm.
idea. It's just
Hmm.
an idea. It's the
Yeah.
Four Noble Truths. It's the recognition that there's suffering. It's understanding where the suffering comes from and a way to overcome that. You know,
Yeah.
there's nothing
Hmm.
religious about it.
Nope.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I like it. I like it a lot.
Hmm.
Well, I don't think we have any questions or comments out there. Look,
Okay. Hmm.
yeah. All right.
All right.
So we'll continue. And
What should I
now,
continue for next month? Like the three marks of existence, or
no, this is the last of the. This is the last of
the vulnerable truth?
Little
Yeah, we're
Truth,
done
right?
with that. Yeah,
I
we're done
really
with that.
like you to. I really like you to do the Tina Turner book.
Okay, I do it in one lecture then.
You don't have to.
Okay.
It's up to
Okay.
you. I mean, we in English, it's been over. It's I think it. Yeah, you don't have to.
Okay. Okay. I'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
I think it's
Hmm.
a very powerful book. You know, just
Hmm.
I think that I think people can be inspired and motivated by example.
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
especially someone that we already know so well. We think we know
yeah.
so well. I think
Okay.
Tina Turner is a very powerful person.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I will be visiting a prison up north on the first Tuesday in August, so I guess I have to push it down to August 13th.
Okay.
Hopefully it's okay. Keep
Okay.
that in
All right.
mind.
We'll work on that. Work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let me turn off the outside first.